Welcome to Dr. Mercola's Cellular Wisdom. Stay informed with quick, easy-to-listen summaries of our latest articles, perfect for when you're on the go. No reading required. Subscribe for free at mercola.com for the latest health insights.
Hello, and welcome to Dr. Mercola's Cellular Wisdom. I'm Ethan Foster, and today we're examining how 4 targeted lifestyle changes can outperform statin drugs in lowering what's commonly called bad cholesterol.
And I'm Alara Sky. Together, we'll unpack the practical steps Dr. Mercola highlights, the science behind them, and why they strike at the underlying causes of cardiovascular risk far better than blocking cholesterol production with medication.
Nearly 40 million Americans swallow a statin pill every day, yet heart disease remains the nation's leading killer. That disconnect raises a simple but urgent question. Are we treating numbers on a lab report instead of the real drivers of arterial damage?
Exactly. Statins reduce circulating cholesterol by inhibiting an enzyme in the liver, but they do nothing to repair insulin resistance, chronic inflammation, or the metabolic fallout of excess sugar. Worse, they introduce new problems: muscle pain, rising blood sugar, and depleted CoQ10, which starves cells of energy.
Dr. Adriana Quiñones Camacho, a cardiologist at NYU, argues that physicians should first prescribe lifestyle, not prescriptions. Let's start with her first pillar: physical activity.
Movement triggers multiple benefits. It raises HDL, the high-density lipoprotein that ferries cholesterol away from arteries. It enhances insulin sensitivity, and it lowers inflammatory markers. Research shows that even brisk walking for 30 minutes 5 times a week can shift lipid profiles in the right direction.
Importantly, you don't need a gym membership or fancy wearables. Cycling to work, gardening, or a quick body weight circuit in the living room all count. The consistency matters more than the venue.
Combining aerobic work with strength training amplifies results. Resistance exercise stimulates muscle repair, which consumes triglycerides as fuel and improves mitochondrial function, another layer of cardiometabolic protection.
Pillar 2 is weight management. Excess adipose tissue, especially around the abdomen, correlates tightly with elevated low-density lipoprotein and plaque buildup. Cutting empty calories and adding regular movement help shrink visceral fat stores that pour inflammatory signals into the bloodstream.
Small tweaks yield big returns. Replacing sugary beverages with sparkling water, prioritizing protein and fiber at meals, and standing during phone calls gradually tip energy balance toward fat loss without crash dieting.
Third, we need to talk about fats, both the kind to avoid and the kind to prioritize. Processed seed oils high in linoleic acid oxidize easily, damaging arterial walls and elevating LDL particles. Eliminating those oils is a foundational step.
Meanwhile, saturated fats from clean sources such as grass-fed butter, coconut oil, and pasture-raised meats have been unfairly maligned. They support stable cell membranes and hormone production without automatically spiking cholesterol synthesis.
Omega-3 fatty acids complete the picture, yet dose and source matter. Whole food options like wild Alaskan salmon, sardines, and anchovies provide EPA and DHA in a phospholipid form the body can incorporate efficiently.
Supplementation is helpful when fish intake is low, but starting with modest doses and choosing a reputable krill oil reduces the risk of atrial fibrillation linked to excessive omega-3 intake from concentrated products.
The final pillar is increasing fiber while slashing refined sugar. Soluble fiber from apples, beans, or Brussels sprouts binds cholesterol in the gut, escorting it out of the body before it enters circulation.
At the same time, minimizing added sugars lowers insulin spikes that convert excess glucose into triglycerides, a better predictor of cardiovascular events than LDL alone. Fewer spikes mean steadier energy and an easier path to weight loss.
When these 4 habits converge, regular movement, gradual fat loss, smart fat choices, and high-fiber, low-sugar meals, the cumulative effect strengthens arterial walls, clears LDL particles efficiently, and normalizes blood pressure.
And all without the adverse effects cataloged for statins. For instance, a 2024 Lancet study showed that high-intensity statin therapy increases the incidence of type 2 diabetes by 36%. Hardly a trivial trade-off.
Muscular side effects are also common. Patients describe deep aches that limit activity, ironically removing the very behavior that would have improved their lipid profile naturally.
Cataract formation and even elevated pancreatic cancer risk appear in the literature as well. These downstream harms arise because statins disrupt the mevalonate pathway, blocking not only cholesterol but also CoQ10, a molecule essential for mitochondrial ATP production.
It's worth pausing on cholesterol's biology. Cholesterol forms the backbone of steroid hormones, ensures membrane integrity, and acts as a precursor for vitamin D synthesis. Too little can impair cognition, mood, and overall cellular resilience.
Recent data complicate the long-standing mantra that lower is always better. The REGARD study, which followed nearly 24,000 participants for over a decade, found that high HDL did not consistently predict lower heart disease risk across racial groups, and low HDL mattered primarily for white adults.
There's also the so-called cholesterol paradox. In certain heart failure cohorts, patients with total cholesterol around 232 milligrams per deciliter survived at higher rates than those under 200 milligrams per deciliter. The takeaway? Context matters more than a single lab value.
Genetics layer yet another variable. Some individuals synthesize more cholesterol regardless of diet, while others maintain low levels naturally. Blanket targets ignore this biological diversity.
That circles back to lifestyle, because habits like refined carbohydrate intake and sedentary behavior drive insulin resistance, mitochondrial dysfunction, and endothelial damage, core engines of cardiovascular disease.
And these engines respond robustly to diet and movement. Fiber dampens post-meal glucose, exercise activates GLUT4 transporters in muscle, and omega-3s modulate membrane fluidity to optimize ion channel function, improving vascular health upstream of cholesterol numbers.
Dr. Mercola cautions that overcorrecting with high-dose omega-3 supplements can make membranes too fluid, disrupting electrical signaling in cardiac cells. Again, balance and whole food sourcing prevail.
Many people still wonder whether cholesterol-rich foods like eggs fit into a heart-healthy diet. Evidence shows that in most individuals, dietary cholesterol has minimal impact on blood levels, and pasture-raised eggs deliver choline, lutein, and high-quality protein that support metabolism and eye health.
The same principle applies to full-fat dairy from grass-fed animals. Fermenting milk into yogurt or kefir supplies probiotics and bioactive peptides while moderating lactose, making these foods compatible with lipid control when consumed mindfully.
Ultimately, the matrix of the food and the lifestyle context in which it's eaten determines health impact far more than any single macronutrient. Whole foods consumed alongside regular activity create results pills can't match.
Let's translate the 4 pillars into an action plan. First, schedule movement like any urgent appointment. 30 minutes of brisk walking 5 days a week, plus 2 brief strength sessions focusing on major muscle groups.
Second, audit dietary fats. Remove seed oils such as soybean, corn, and canola from the pantry. Replace them with extra virgin olive oil for salads and stable saturated fats for cooking.
Third, structure meals around fibrous vegetables, modest fruit, quality protein, and healthy fats. Treat grains and sweets as occasional, not daily, and aim for at least 25 grams of combined soluble and insoluble fiber per day.
Fourth, monitor weight through waist circumference, rather than the bathroom scale alone. A shrinking waist signals reduced visceral fat and improved metabolic flexibility.
Implementing even one pillar yields noticeable progress, but layering all 4 amplifies synergy. Each habit reinforces the others, so combined they produce a compounding improvement in cardiovascular resilience.
For listeners currently on statins, never stop medication abruptly. Discuss any lifestyle overhaul with your physician and consider a structured plan to track biomarkers as habits improve.
Key markers include fasting insulin, triglyceride to HDL ratio, high sensitivity C-reactive protein, and of course, a standard lipid panel. Watching these trends offers more insight than chasing an absolute LDL target.
If you and your clinician decide to taper medication, ensure CoQ10 levels are supported through ubiquinol supplementation and mitochondrial-friendly nutrients like magnesium, B vitamins, and D-ribose.
Lifestyle is powerful medicine, and unlike drugs, its side effects are universally positive. more energy, improved mood, and a stronger defense against a spectrum of chronic diseases.
That wraps our exploration of the 4 lifestyle strategies that beat statins at their own game. We hope today's discussion equips you with actionable steps toward lasting heart health.
Thanks for listening to Dr. Mercola's Cellular Wisdom. I'm Ethan Foster.
And I'm Alara Sky. Stay informed, stay engaged, and we'll meet you again in the next episode.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe now and click the notification bell so you never miss an update. See you in the next video.